This Reddit story comes from the subreddit True Off My Chest, and it's titled Trust Your Dog. It's from a throwaway account. I noticed my dog got very alert whenever my wife got close to our 10-year-old son. A few weeks ago, she went to tickle him and our dog snapped and growled at her and chased her out of the room. This was suspicious. Our dog adores my wife and is very gentle. Later, I asked my son, why do you think dog's name did that? He didn't want to answer, but I eventually got out of him that my wife had hit him in a fit of rage and told him not to tell me or she wouldn't love him anymore. What a bee! He's a really well-behaved kid. Not being badly behaved would be an excuse, but the worst thing he does is he throws his dirty socks on the floor and has to be reminded to do his homework. It turns out that she hit him once before we ever got a dog and I never knew. I also found out that emotional abuse happened a few times along the lines of, I won't love you if you don't fold your laundry. What a bee! Just writing that makes me hate her so much. She showed her true colors, that bee. I called the police and told them what our son told me. He was so upset that he didn't talk for a few days after he told me what my wife was like, but he nodded yes for the police. She's out of the house and I filed for divorce and sole custody of our son for his own good. Our son still loves her and wants his mommy. This is really hard on him. I'll likely arrange for supervised visitation based on what my lawyer says is best, but I'm not going to let my little guy grow up with that crap. Before anyone asks, he is seeing a therapist now to help him process all of this and adjust. Good dog. Poor guy was depressed for a week after I kicked my wife out because she was his favorite person. As a mom, I know that sometimes having kids or dealing with kids can be very frustrating, but that's not an excuse for you to physically hit them or even do emotional abuse and by saying, oh, I'll only love you if you do ABC. That's just ridiculous. You should love your children unconditionally. This mom definitely should not have any access to her son unless it's supervised. But let's see what the comments section have to say. First person said, you don't threaten not to love your child ever. I totally agree with that. Another commenter says, it F's them for life. My mother-in-law used to do that kind of thing with my SO. Well, I guess you really don't love me then when she wouldn't get her way. He's 47, going to therapy and completely effed up from her BS. Another commenter said, I hate it when I hear the phrase, I love you, but there is no but. Someone else says, yeah, that's pretty messed up. I can't imagine what would possess someone to say that stuff to their kids. Someone else says, if you're already making that threat, the love probably doesn't even exist to begin with. That's a very good observation, commenter. Someone else comments, wow, you did what was right for your son and his mental health. It is a shame for her to use the withdrawing of her love as a punishment. Parents should love their children unconditionally and be patient with their children when making mistakes. We were all children at a point in our lives. Hug your son and be supportive. There is a comment that the OP does respond to. The comment says, she hit him twice and he's getting a divorce. Talk about overreacting. The OP responds by saying, I'm divorcing because she hit him out of rage and used emotional abuse toward him, among other things. Not tell me she hit him. If you don't understand the lifelong damage emotional abuse can cause, you aren't in a good position to comment. It may surprise you to learn that I didn't write the entire history of my marriage in one short post. Last November, I got really sick. I dehydrated, had to go to the ER. The doctor prescribed some meds. My wife says she was too tired to pick them up for me that day. When I explained that I really needed them, she screamed at me for being too demanding. F her. She didn't love me and our marriage was basically over. Even if I didn't love someone, I'll get their effing prescription for them. She turned into a garbage person. Since she never screamed at me or even fought in front of our son, I decided that the best course of action would be to stick it out until he turned 18, then leave her and take him with me if that's what he wanted. Obviously, that was not the right choice. And the person who made the original comment says, that makes more sense to me. The post originally sounded like this was the only thing that she ever did wrong and it was otherwise a happy marriage. A few more commenters add to that by saying, I'm glad that you kept your child safe and believed him when he told you you did the right thing. Another one says, I wouldn't love you if you don't. Best way possible of destroying a person's self-esteem and making them vulnerable to toxic relationships. For me, that's worse than beating. Another comment says, I can handle the physical beating my dad gave me, and over time he and I got over things and have a good relationship. By my mom, the things she said to me will stay in my brain forever. Words hurt so much more than people realize, especially as a child. Exactly. Children, they're basically sponges. They take whatever you say and will remember it. They absorb everything that they hear or that they see. So when someone, especially a parent, say something, I won't love you unless you do this, it trains the child's mind to think, oh my goodness, I have to do this in order to make this person love me. And they're going to have a warped sense of view of how relationships work. And that's terrible. Like I said before, a child should have unconditional love, and you as a parent should raise them in the proper way by giving them unconditional love. And if they do make mistakes, have patience with them and show them with kindness and patience of doing it or correcting their mistakes. Anyways, I would love to hear what you guys think of the story. Please leave those in the comments. And if you like these types of stories, remember to continue to like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later.